brow pencils were bought. The waterproof test was run. Each pencil was used multiple times. Yes, I tested if they would smudge. The numbers were crunched. We are now ready to reveal our findings. This Benefit eyebrow pencil is the thing that started this entire journey for me because I love this thing, but it's so stinking expensive and I go through it so fast. Do other brands have a better one that's maybe less money that maybe would last longer? So I'm going to go through all the ones that I was able to discover. So my criteria was it needed to be 1 millimeter or less. So the actual pencil itself had to be that size or less. I have a whole spreadsheet here if you're wondering why I'm looking down. I just want to get all my information correct. So let's start out with Benefit, the one that started this entire journey. This is called the Precisely My Brow Detailer. It does claim that it's waterproof. It claims there's no parabens and there's no fragrance. Okay, I will say the no fragrance thing kind of made me laugh. Like, why would you put a fragrance in an eyebrow pencil? This retails for $25. It comes in 6 shades and I am in the color 3.5. It is sold at Sephora and Ulta, and of course they have their own website. They all have their own website, so I'm not going to keep saying that. If it's sold on Amazon, I will only list an Amazon, and I'll put this in the link as well, if it is sold by the brand itself. So in other words, does Benefit sell themselves on Amazon? That didn't come out right. Does Benefit sell? I don't know how to say that. Are they sold on Amazon by Benefit? Or does Amazon sell it themselves? This goes on extremely easy. The reason why this is such an easy thing is because of the packaging. And the packaging is like none other. There's just, and I'm starting out with the best, I realize, but there are some good ones in here that you might consider. One that's actually a lot cheaper than this one, a couple of them. See how it has the pencil, but then it has this thing around it. See how that goes, is a little extra piece there? That protects the pencil from breaking. You want it to actually be really close to that piece of plastic itself and then raise it as you need it. That means it will not break as easy, and I have found that to be true. It also means because this part is so small, you can get into those tiny little places and still see what you're doing. When the thing around it, the packaging around the pencil itself is bigger, it's very hard to be able to get into those tiny little places because the packaging hides it from you because it's bigger. So Benefit really did an amazing thing when they created it with this extra piece of plastic. So I think that's one thing that sets this so completely apart. And it's really the reason I love this pencil. Let's go to MAC. This is called the Pro Brow Definer. This is 1 millimeter. It sells for $24. It says it is waterproof, but it also says it is beneficial to your brows because it has a specific kind of wax. I couldn't say the word. It has castor, argan, and coconut oils. So this claims it will actually benefit and soften your brows given enough time that you use it. It comes in 14 shades. This one is the one that came in the most shades. So I was kind of impressed by MAC on that one. I am in medium brown. This is sold at Ulta and at Macy's. This one is a typical packaging. You can see how small it is. And I will say they all have a spoolie on the other end. If you've watched any of my other makeup kind of videos, especially anything about brows, I won't buy a brow pencil that doesn't have a spoolie on the other end. It drives me insane. It's just the way I do my brows. So they all have a spoolie on the other end. This is a good pencil. I like it. It goes on easy. It withstood all the tests, and I think it's a good brow pencil. Do I like it as much as the Benefit one? No. And it's because of the packaging. Because this part around the pencil itself is bigger. Now we go to Huda Beauty. This actually was probably the OG of these nano brow pencils because this has been out a lot longer than all the other ones, I think. I don't know, my daughter started buying this a couple years ago. This one is called #Bomb Brows Microshade Brow Pencil. This one is sold for $17, so it's quite substantially less money. This has vitamin E, it has castor oil, coconut oil, and it does claim to be waterproof. This is a 0.9 millimeter, so just under that 1 millimeter mark. But you can see the packaging is actually quite big around it. This part is quite big around it. This comes in 6 different shades, and my shade is medium brown. One of the downfalls of this one is it's only sold on their website. Sephora used to carry it, and now they don't. So you have to go onto their website. You can't even get it on Sephora online. So that's disappointing because it is a cheaper price point. This one is a good brow pencil. It goes on easy. I think it's great. You can get the hairline stroke. I love that it's actually under that 1 millimeter mark, but it still does not trump the Benefit one. All right, let's go to Kosas. Kosas has been around a little bit longer than the other ones. I think this is probably one of the original ones. This one is 1 millimeter. I do think it breaks a little bit easier than the other ones. So you do have to be very careful how high you raise this. All of them, you need to be careful how high you raise them. But this one in particular broke as soon as I used it, and I didn't have it too high. So when it cost that much, that's disappointing. This doesn't really claim much. It doesn't even claim to be waterproof, but I didn't notice it coming off my brows. I didn't notice it in my water test that it came off any easier than anybody else, but I looked through the entire specs of it on the website, and it doesn't say it's waterproof. So this comes in medium brown, and it has 6 different shades, and you can get this at Sephora and of course their website. I said I wouldn't say that, and I'm saying that. This one's a good one, but of all the higher priced ones, this is probably of this type, and you'll know what I mean when I say this type. It's not my favorite. I probably won't, and I know I won't buy this again because it just breaks a little bit more easier than the other ones. More easier. That was bad grammar. It breaks easier. Okay, Merit. Merit has their Brow 1990 Ultra Fine Eyebrow Gel Pencil, and it is $24. So this has a couple different ingredients in it that make it different. It has sunflower oil, safflower extract, and hibiscus flower extract. So this does not claim it is waterproof, although I didn't feel like it came off any easier. This one is 1 millimeter. It comes in 5 different shades, and I am in the light brown. And Merit is sold at Sephora. Again, I felt like this went on well. I didn't have any issues with it. It stayed on. I literally had no issues with this. I do believe this is a good brow pencil. Do I like it as much as Benefit? No. All right, one more of this type. This one is from Covergirl, and it is the only drugstore priced one I could find. Now, I will say, if you know of one that I did not cover, please let me know. I scoured the internet, I scoured drugstore, and I scoured Sephora and Ulta. I tried to find all of them that claim to be 1 millimeter or less. There's one that I think actually deceived. I will tell you that one in a second. The Covergirl one is called Clean Fresh Nano Brow. This claims it is waterproof. It has vitamin E, hyaluronic acid, squalane, 85% natural ingredients, no parabens or mineral oil. It's talc and fragrance free. This claims a lot. It retails for $11.99, $12. It is 1 millimeter. It comes in 6 different shades. I am in medium brown. You can purchase this at Ulta, and it is sold on Amazon by Covergirl or by Amazon. I think it's sold by Amazon. And of course, you can find it wherever drugstore places sell, like CVS, they all sell Covergirl. At least I think they do. This is a good brow pencil. I do believe it's a little bit harder to get it started. Like, I feel like it's not as easy to glide on as the more higher priced ones, but my little trick is to just get it only a little bit up on it and just warm it up a little bit on your hand And once it's warmed up, you'll see it starts to come off pretty easily. Because it's so much less, I don't feel like I'm wasting so much. If I had to do that on one of those $25 ones, I'd be pretty annoyed. But for 12 bucks, I'm like, okay, I don't mind if I have to waste a tiny bit to get it warm. I actually like this pencil a lot. Do I like it as much as the Benefit? No. But it's a very, very good lower priced option. Okay, then I found two kinds of brow pencils that claim to be 1 millimeter or less, or claim to be like a nano brow, but it's in a different form. First is Glossier. This is called the Boy Brow Arch. It sells for $24. It doesn't say how many millimeters it is, but it does look very little. It comes in 9 different shades. Its claims is that it will wear all day. It is waterproof. There's a built-in sharpener. I'll show you what that means in a minute. It's got coconut in it for moisturization. It's like a pomade in a pencil. It's very different. And the concept is when you do it sideways, you can get those hair-like strokes. But if you turn it the other direction, it'll be a thicker stroke because you're doing it by the width of it. So it says it's a 2-in-1 kind of thing. I get what they mean. I will say I found it a bit frustrating because I had to think about it. I had to look at it and go, okay, where am I doing it? And then put it on. Whereas other ones I could just go and I didn't have to think about it. What they mean by the sharpener is the cap. You're supposed to take this and basically rub it against the cap here, and then you get a sharper point to it. Now, I think we could have done that on any hard surface, and I could have just done it on like the palette that I use to put makeup on. I could have just done it that way, but they put it in that. You're gonna have to clean this off because now it's dirty, and that means you're using up precious expensive, because how much? It's $24. So it's kind of expensive to have to sharpen it. But if you don't sharpen it, it becomes more rounded and you don't get that hair-like stroke. So therefore, this is probably one of those that I'm like, I would never buy this again. Because of that, you're wasting stuff. It does go on easy. As far as it being on my brows, it worked fine. So for me, this is definitely a no-go. I wouldn't buy it again. Another one that's a different kind of type is from Patrick Ta, the Major Brow Defining Pencil. It retails for $27. It doesn't claim how big it is, so that way it looks pretty small, but it goes to a wider point. Let me put it next to, I'll do the Merit one. This one's the Patrick Ta. It looks pretty close, but if we turn it, it's not. That's how they get that smaller nano brow. This one was very hard, and I will be returning this one because it comes out. See how, it broke immediately, but it broke at the bottom of it. I have put this thing back in about 5 times and trying to actually do my brows, because when you're doing your brows, you're like this, and then you turn it over and you do this, and every time I did this, it would come out the bottom. So I'm gonna try to put that back in a minute. I don't know if I just got a bad one. I'm assuming I did. Patrick Ta doesn't usually, I don't know, they just had a whole thing with his stuff becoming moldy or something. I don't know, I don't have any of his eyeshadows, but I'm not real thrilled with the fact that this cost me, how much did I say? $27. I think this is the highest priced one. Yeah. And it broke immediately. It does come in 5 different shades. I am medium brown, and it is sold at Sephora. Okay, there was one brow pencil that claimed that it was 0.5 millimeters. That's smaller than a Benefit one. And it was only $10.99, $11. It's sold by L'Oreal. And it does say, according to you guys can see, I'm gonna put the specs right here off of the website. It says 0.5 millimeters. That's tiny. I bought it based on that. And when I got it, I'm like, did I order the wrong thing? I did not order the wrong thing. I'll compare it to the Covergirl one. The right is the L'Oreal. So this one is the one that they claim is 0.5 millimeters. Okay, clearly not. If the Covergirl one is 1 millimeter, then this one should be half the width. Clearly it is not. So I don't know if that is a typo or what, but I was very disappointed when I realized this is the size of a normal brow pencil. This one's the L'Oreal. The other one is Kokie. It's just as big. I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt that it was a typo. I don't know. Okay, I am in the middle of editing this video that you are watching right now. And I decided to check something. When I checked the website for the L'Oreal pencil, I checked it on Ulta's. So that's where I got the graphics where it said it was 0.5 millimeter. So I decided, you know what? I should make sure that L'Oreal itself says it's this. Guess what? It doesn't. So this is an Ulta issue. This is not really a L'Oreal issue. Ulta's the one that put the graphic on there. I don't know. I don't know if they make their own graphics or if L'Oreal sends them a graphic to put on their website, but it does not show that it is 0.5 millimeter on the L'Oreal website itself, only on the Ulta one. Curious. Okay, so going forward, what am I going to do? Because I don't actually like any of them as much as I like this, only because of, like I've said a million times now, the packaging. But I don't want to spend so much. What I think I'm going to do going forward is, Kosas is my favorite normal size, like everyday, it's, you know, it's the normal size. Not Kosas, I'm sorry, Kokie. I love this brow pencil, but I also like the one from e.l.f. I think that one's a great one. Ultabeauty has a good one as well. There's a lot of really good brow pencils that you do not have to spend a fortune on. I am going forward going to purchase this one if I can find it. It's always hard to find because it's not always available in the store. This one or the Ulta or any of the other ones. I'm going to use these to do all my bigger areas. I don't need to use this little Nano brow to fill in my whole entire eyebrow. I did it for you guys so you guys could see how it worked, but I don't need to use that. I can use this, fill in the big parts, and then take the little Nano one, the brow detailer, and use that to go into all the little tiny places and just fill it in, and I'm done. Therefore, I will use this far less and it won't cost me as much. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. Please, if it has, please give me a thumbs up below and comment. I'd love to hear your comments, especially if you have found one that has worked really well for you that maybe I didn't list. I absolutely could have missed one. There's a lot out there. Not a lot of these Nano ones, but there's a lot of brow pencils out there. Okay, I'm going to link a very old video, and I don't even think it's a very good video. I'm just gonna tell you that. But the tip in it is so good. It is my tip to be able to get all those little hairs that you don't even really see because sometimes they're blonde, but if they catch the light in a certain way, you're like, oh my word, that brow is huge, that brow hair is huge, and it's like here. So I have a little tip that I'm going to show you in this video. So I'm gonna link that right here. I'll see you maybe in that one or another one. God bless.